are chocolate chip cookies. Some of the best chocolate chip cookies you've ever had. This is not Toll House by any means. Let's get started. You can see I keep my butter frozen. It stays fresher that way. So I'll take the butter out, and since I don't want to wait for it to come to room temperature, I'm going to weigh it, make sure I have 8 ounces. Yep. Now I'm going to take these, wrap them. Put that magic butter right on there. As you can see, I'm double sealing them because if I just put them in the bag, there's a chance I could melt them, and I don't want to melt them. I just want them to come to room temperature. You could even put these in the baggies like this and just keep them in the freezer and keep them fresh longer. My butter is softened now. You don't want it to be melted because then you'll end up with crispy cookies, unless you like crispy cookies. You just want it to be soft. And we want to get all of that off because we want every bit of goodness. There we go. Now it looks like 3 sticks, but usually when you use regular butter, every stick is 4 ounces. These are different sizes because when we made the Cannabutter, we just poured the butter right into the molds and we didn't measure them. So we have 8 ounces.
It smells like cannabis.
It smells good, doesn't it? We put our butter in, we have our sugars in. Now that's a ½ cup of brown sugar and a cup of granulated sugar. You don't have to use a mixer. You can always do it by hand, which I've done for years, but it's so convenient when you have a mixer. To kick it up a notch, I added 500 milligrams of Durban Poison distillate. We blended the butters and the sugar, and once they were incorporated, I added 2 eggs, blended those in, and then I added some vanilla, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and into that, I'm gonna put a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of salt. You can sift it together or you can whisk it. Once it's completely distributed, I'll pour that into my mixture. We're gonna stop here so we can add our chocolate chips. You'll notice this is not completely mixed together. I don't want it completely mixed together because if it's too mixed together and I add my chocolate chips, it's going to make the cookies tough. I want it to be mixed mostly, and then add your chocolate chips. Stop just as soon as it's all completely incorporated. Let's scrape it all off. And I don't know how you feel about raw cookie dough. Personally, I love it. I know there are problems Some people have with raw flour. I don't, so I like raw cookie dough. And raw Cannabutter cookie dough is really delicious. You can take these and freeze them if you want. You can like make balls and then freeze them and bake them off later. You don't have to bake them all at one time. Or you can bake them all at one time and freeze the cookies. But if you want them like warm right out of the oven, then definitely freeze the dough. Let's just make sure we have everything from the bottom. Looks good. Now we can start rolling our cookies into balls and putting them on the cookie sheet. So if you have a decent cookie scoop, use it. If you don't, you can always use an ice cream scoop or just your fingers. Give yourself, about a tablespoon and a half. Roll, but don't roll too much. And give it a little press down. You'll notice that I'm using a Silpat, which is a silicone sheet that goes into your cookie sheet. It's just easier for cleanup. Or you can use parchment paper. If you don't want to use either one, then just use a regular cookie sheet, but you don't need to spray it. If you spray it, you might end up with burned bottoms.
That's how you get the burned bottoms.
You're familiar, I take it.
I've had cookies with burned bottoms. Those are trash.
Our cookies are ready to go in the oven. It's been preheated to 375 degrees. So these can go in on the bottom and top shelf if you have 2 trays. If you just have one, I usually put it in on the bottom shelf. We set the timer for 10 minutes because these usually take 10 to 12 minutes. You don't want to set it for 12 minutes because then you could accidentally overbake them. We'll be safer with the lower amount of time. Oh, these look nice. Now, obviously, you can put more chocolate chips in if you want to, or you can add nuts to it. You could add oatmeal, but if you add oatmeal, there's kind of a little bit of a stiffer cookie. You'll notice it's golden and a little bit soft in the center because they will continue to bake when they come out of the oven. For a less potent cookie, the only thing you can do is make them smaller. We have the smaller ones ready to go into the oven. You'll notice I'm not pressing these down. They don't need to be pressed down because there's so little here. We want to give them a little less time. 7 minutes sounds good to me. And then we'll check them. We may have to add a minute or 2. We'll see. These look gorgeous. Check out the bottom, the top. I can hardly wait to eat it.
I guess we have to eat that one.
I think so. It's broken now. These look beautiful. They're a little bit lighter, but like I said before, they will continue to bake. So wasn't that easy? We just made some amazing Chef Naz magical cookies in no time.